Today on Commander Replay, it's viewer-submitted deck winner time with Selenia, Dark Angel, powering up the Lich. Can Selenia turn our opponent's life totals into zero before they make ours zero? Find out next on Commander Replay. Welcome back, everyone. Viewer-submitted deck contest number 3. Winner number 1, Selenia Dark Angel, powering up the Lich. This deck is all about playing the cards that say you can't lose the game, making your life total 0, and then exchanging your life total with an opponent. This deck looks pretty sweet. Opening hand, we have 2 lands, Angel's Grace, part of our combo. Enlightened Tutor seems pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Maybe a little light on lands, although it's a 36 land deck, so I'd prefer it was 38, but see how it goes. Decent amount of mana rocks in the deck, so we could be okay that way as well. We draw a land off the top. That is good news. Let's play the plains. I'm not sure if we Enlightened Tutor yet. A turn 1 Nile Spellbomb for the Phenax opponent. So I mentioned we're playing Selenia Dark Angel as 3 white-black for a 3/3 flying. Pay 2 life, return it to its owner's hand. We'll be using that ability to stack that a bunch of times to make our life total 0, and then try to exchange life with our opponent. And today we'll be facing off against Bruse, partnered with Silas, facing off against a Thraximundar and a Phenax. So a lot of different styles of commanders. We got a mill deck, we got Thraximundar is usually some flavor of Grixis control, and then I believe this is someone I faced maybe about 20 minutes ago. I think the partner deck is on life gain. So there's a Beseech the Queen, that's helpful. Let's play the Marsh Flats right here. Crack the Marsh Flats. Get a Scrubland. Play the Darkest Hour. That seems like a safe play that we can make. Silas Wren coming into play. So Darkest Hour is used with Tessa Orzhov Scion with a sack outlet to make infinite mana, infinite card draw. That's a Praetor's Grasp on us. So opponent's going to get a good look at our deck. Hopefully they just take our Soul Ring or something. I'm tempted to Enlightened Tutor for land tax. I think I'm going to do that, actually. We've only got 1 land left in hand, and I don't think this game's going to be over immediately, so I'd like to get all of our land drops. Well, we'll take a look. Oh, there's always Necropotence. That's always a card. We could go Necro, but we know we're 1 black short of actually casting it. Eee. Yeah, I think it's going to be the land tax. Just want to keep making those land drops. We do have another Tutor in hand, so play a Swamp, play the land tax. There's Bruse coming down. Silas Wren going to swing into the Phenax opponent. There's a Phyrexian Arena for the Phenax. Brings it back to our turn. We're going to get that land tax trigger. Let's get Swamp, Swamp, Plains. We draw a Sacred Mesa. Let's play the Swamp right here. Play Mobilization, and we'll pass the turn like that. So Bruse and Silas Wren going to swing into the Thraximundar and the Phenax. Thraximundar at 38 and Phenax at 30. Phenax is going to Diabolic Tutor. Oh, they went for our Phyrexian Arena. That was the card that they hit with the Praetor's Grasp, so that's good to know. Wasn't any of our combo pieces, they were just trying to get some card draw. So a deck like this has a lot of combos in it. Makes it difficult to pilot if you've never played the deck before. Has some similar combos that I've seen before when I did, last time I did one of these contests, and there was the you win the game tribal kind of deck. So I've seen a few of them, but there's still a bunch that I'm not really comfortable with. I have the list up on the screen next to me just so I can kind of keep track of when I have a potential combo. Let's get Swamp and 2 Plains. There's a Grave Pact. That seems good. I think this turn, let's see, let's lay down a Swamp. I think I'm just going to go for our commander right here. And then next turn, we're going to start to think about that Beseech the Queen, assuming our commander stays in play. Lots of basic lands in this deck, so I have no problems just going for the max every time and then discarding to hand size as we need to. It'll thin out our deck also. Now, one problem is that Bruse and Silas have been leaving blue mana open, which is a little bit concerning. Actually, there's a fairly reasonable chance for some counter spells between Thraximundar, Phenax, and the partnered opponent. A lot of blue mana floating around this game. There's an Eternity Vessel. It's funny that opponent can just gain tons and tons of life, but like we don't even care that much. This deck, we will just make their life total 0. Thraximundar coming down. Hopefully it doesn't come our way. Hopefully it wants to send a little bit back to the partnered opponent. Can equip the sort of Light and Shadow to it. Sure. Yep, gonna swing into the partnered opponent. That's good. That'll slow the partnered opponent down a little bit. You're going to have to sack a creature. Grave Pact is actually probably a really good thing to get down on our next turn. We could go Grave Pact, and then at some point make a token with the mobilization. That'll keep creatures off the board and will allow us to set up our combo, but maybe not just yet. I'm still trying to figure out what we need to do next turn. I don't really want to show opponents our combo. Clone coming into play. Gonna copy the Thraximundar. See if that also goes to the partnered opponent. It does. That's the problem with playing aggro decks. As someone who plays a lot of them, you do make people angry, and then as soon as they get something big, they want to hit you with it. And Thraximundar is pretty big and pretty damaging as far as those types of things are concerned. So 2 Thraximundar triggers for a creature dying, so those Thraximundars getting pretty big. Now probably definitely time for the Grave Pact, although we can't Grave Pact and get the token all at the same time, which is a little bit annoying. Ooh, that's a Bloodchief Ascension. That'll get a counter on it. Brings it back to our turn, another land tax trigger. This deck is really heavy on black mana symbols, so we want to keep grabbing black mana for sure. In fact, I'm going to get 3 swamps right here and just pitch our plains. The white mana isn't nearly as intense in this deck. There's a Kothoped. Kothoped's interesting. Play a swamp. I think we really want to get the Grave Pact down. Play the Grave Pact. We're not really an attacking kind of deck, so I think we'll just hang back. And we will discard the plains to hand size. I don't think there's any triple white in this deck. There's a Mazavith. That's helpful against the... That'll help the partnered opponent against the Thraximundar threats. That's a Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. Blow up the Grave Pact or the Eternity Vessel. Oh, gonna gain control of the Thraximundar. That seems pretty good. It's still tapped, though. Legend Rule takes over, and the 1 Thraximundar gets sacrificed. Who is Thraximundar attacking? Okay, not us. He's gonna get Mazavithed. Opponent's going to use an Erase on the Phyrexian Arena. That is completely the wrong place to use that. I mean, they should hit that Bloodchief Ascension, or they should be hitting our Grave Pact. That is an incorrect use of that card. So, Phenax's turn. Damage is prevented with the Mazavith, and that will end the turn. Phenax's turn now. So it's going to bring it back to our turn. Another land tax trigger. Going to stay on the deck thinning plan. Would really love to get this Kothoped down, but just seems kind of dodgy. Sidisi is a very real Magic card. Play a swamp right here. We're up to 7 mana, which means if we could... Ooh, nice. Sidisi will allow us to tutor. Oh, even better. If Sidisi exploits itself, then that'll get rid of both the Oblivion Sower and the Thraximundar. That's a pretty good place to be. Let's start by sending the Selenia into the Nicol Bolas. So Nicol Bolas goes down. That's a good thing. That card's just a bit too strong. Yeah, so Sidisi actually a really good draw right here. Play the Sidisi. Exploit the Sidisi. Grave Pact's going to trigger. We are going to get Repay in Kind. And now the goal is basically just make it back to our turn with Selenia in play. Discard a swamp right here. We'll probably need to get a couple planes going again, too. So Landfall Eternity Vessel's going to trigger. Eternity Vessel, kind of a funny card. Never really played it. I've seen it a handful of times over the years, but... Funny in Commander because your life total already starts high. You're playing a life gain deck, goes even higher. A little expensive at 6 mana to get down, though. It's not uncommon by the time you get to 6 mana to actually run out of lands. Ooh, that's a Sire of Stagnation. Pretty nasty card. Garza Zal, Plague Queen coming down. That's okay, as long as they're not recasting Thraximundar. Man, Thraximundar is so strong. Just a big creature that makes you sacrifice stuff. Pretty good. And... that makes 2 of our opponents playing lots of blue tapped out. We are fixing to win the game on our turn. Garzazal going to swing into us. Yeah, that's going to hit. Garzazal have Vigilance? Something untapped it. Oh, Mazavith maybe? Yep, Mazavith. Okay. So opponent's going to Mazavith the Garzazal. Doesn't want Thraximundar to draw any additional cards. Garzazal is a card that I used to run in my Reanimator deck like 12 years ago. That was back before they printed a bunch of high-power creatures. Now there's so many creatures to choose from you don't even know what to pick. But in like 2006, your actual top end for a Reanimator deck was like, it was fine. It was like a Chroma, Angel of Despair, Tidespout, Tyrant, Garzazal. That was really about as good as it's getting. Opponent's going to use the Spell Bomb on us. Sure. Nothing too important in our graveyard. Mostly just a lot of lands. Would really love Phenax to tap out right here. So our graveyard gets exiled. Sire of Stagnation Landfall trigger. So they'll get to draw 2 cards. Come on, Phenax. Please tap out. There's a Signet. Ooh, that's so incredibly bad. Wow. Yeah, they just got us. There's an Ill-Gotten Gains. There's a Lich. There's Tessa. Diabolic Intent is a card. We have Ill-Gotten Gains. Opponent should have wheeled first and then used the Spell Bomb on us. So we get another land tax trigger. Just going to go for 2 lands this time. No, we have plenty of lands in hand. Make it all 3. Unless we get wheeled again, but... That's a second Sunrise. Man. Oh, this is the tricky part of this deck. So Phyrexian Tower, probably want that in play. A Sire of Stagnation will trigger. What is the correct choice to make right here? Really just need, like, mana ramp. If we had a lot of mana, plus 7, we would need 12 mana. We have 5, 6, 7, 8. We could sacrifice... See, Lich. This card's confusing. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. You would gain life, draw cards instead. Whenever you're dealt damage, sacrifice that many non-token permanents. Yeah, we probably don't want to just run that down there willy-nilly. Oh, man. I'm thinking maybe Tessa right here. Make a token. Sack that token to add some mana. Great Pack's going to trigger. That's going to kill some stuff. We're not set up... I don't think we're set up to win the game this turn. Let's play the Diabolic Intent. Sacrifice the token. Great Pack will trigger again. Another Tessa trigger. I think we get Phyrexian Altar right here. Phyrexian Altar will give us unlimited mana, which means we can... yeah, we can do a lot of stuff with unlimited mana. Opponent gets an Eternity Vessel trigger with the landfall. Signet. Ooh, Academy Rector. Might be an Omniscience on the other side of that thing. There's a Solemn Simulacrum for the Thraximundar. A lot of blue mana open for the partnered opponent. It's not great. Thraximundar also leaving mana up. It's not great. We could use a big draw off the top to bait out whatever counterspells are probably about to happen. There's a 1,000-year elixir. There's Phenax coming into play. Get ready to start milling. That brings it back to our turn. We'll just go for one swamp right here. Mesa Enchantress, you say? Play the Command Tower. Probably could have used a little more white mana through all the things we were doing. Ew. Alright. Let's try the Phyrexian Arena. See if that baits out a counter. So that's going to generate infinite mana. That's cool. I think we're going to go for it right here. Let's see. So, sacrifice creature. Well, nothing we can do about that Academy Rector. It's going to happen. Ooh, opponent's going to -4 our Tessa. Another Great Pack trigger. Omniscience. Probably not a counter left from Thraximundar. Could be a negate, but none of the double blue counters left. Opponent goes for Tainted Remedy. Yeah, so definitely a life gain kind of thing. Still 3 blue mana open. Let's try the second Sunrise. Opponent gets back there. Solemn Simulacrum. Sacrifice the Spirit. Solemn Simulacrum going to die again. Opponent's going to Swords to Plowshares our Tessa. Well, might as well sacrifice Tessa in that case. Let us try the Ill-Gotten Gains. Opponent's going to exile our Phyrexian Altar. Can't do much about that. We can sacrifice one last thing for some mana. So we lose our hand. Let's get Repay in Kind, Angel's Grace, and I guess Kothaped for card draw. And with our floating mana, we will make a token. Pass the turn. So opponents possessing just enough interaction to make things interesting for us last turn. Couldn't quite get there. But they assumingly all got the 3 best cards in their graveyard back into their hands. So that's a thing. Arbiter of Knowledge. Uh-oh. Are we going to die to Tainted Remedy? Well, we've got Angel's Grace. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much instead. Each player's life total becomes the highest among all totals. That's 56. So we're down to 22. Opponents are at 10 and 2. Gonna put a Gift of Immortality on the Arbiter. Sure. So the partnered opponent, very close to winning. Bloodchief Ascension gets a counter on it. It's close to active. We would love to not sacrifice any more creatures, because the Arbiter will come back, and that will likely kill most of us. That being the case, I'm gonna return the Selenia to our hand. Wait for the trigger to hit the stack. So this is gonna, I don't think opponent realized that's gonna eliminate the other 2 of them. Let's say I've got like a Stifle or something. So definitely time to play this Angel's Grace. If nothing else, I think we'll get to settle for second place in this one. Not that that's where I wanted to be, but we're still at -16, which is an issue. That's not damage, that's life loss. Yep, so... I guess we're getting second place in this one. Bummer. And we died to state-based effects. What do we have coming? Anything? Faith's Reward? Deal a tutor. So we were very close to winning. We had the combo win in hand, just that opponent hit the wheel effect. And then on the following turn, when we try to set everything up, opponents had just enough interaction to keep us from doing everything we needed to do. So sad in that regard. Probably a little bit too. I'm sure that I did not play this deck optimally. Pretty challenging with all the different combos going on, knowing which one you should be going for in a given moment with your tutors and things like that. but a really cool deck otherwise. I think the deck is built very well. From what I can tell, it seems like a really tight list. Again, it's just a matter of practicing with it and knowing how to pilot it a little bit better. If we were just a turn quicker to the draw, then we would have easily won the game, but again, not knowing what I was doing kind of slows everything down a little bit, but a really, really cool deck. Thank you to Biri Lost for submitting the deck. Really, really cool. Great job with it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.